Hey! Hey! What is up, guys? Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Brave 9 video. Alright, so I just finished my live stream for the season 120th of the Arena in Asia server. So definitely it was a fun one. A lot of things happened. Alright, so I got pretty lucky, get up to Grandmaster 3, as you guys can see. My attack, definitely not a good one. Alright, 65% is pretty bad. So I did lose a couple of battles, win a couple of battles. But one thing that's interesting for me is I decided to bring back Asmode. That's going to be our focus of topic here right now. So Asmode currently in, the Seto, Lucius, Beliaf, Livia plus 12. Just him running around right now. How does he fare? Alright, so I gotta be honest with you guys, I wasn't expecting him to do this well. I wouldn't say he excel compared to a lot of other units. Definitely, he's not as strong as all the other plus 12 version of Octos. But I wouldn't say he's bad either. Alright, surprisingly, his role fits pretty well in the meta, believe it or not, because of how the entire meta is centered around Seto, right? So everybody is trying to counter Seto now. So everybody is building their Velter, everybody is using Benshina or lots of tanks basically. So Asmode sort of counter those units in a lot of ways. So we're going to jump into some battles. Hopefully I can show you guys how I utilize my Asmode. So this might be able to give you guys some idea if you do have Asmode in your team or in your formation, and how you can take advantage of him as well. Alright, so we're going to jump into maybe like a couple of defense and a couple of attack formations. Okay, so let's have a look at this battle against Moki 35. Now this battle surprises me because I wasn't expecting to see a Cowley in Grandmaster rank. Alright, so surprisingly there's a Cowley right here. So I'm guessing that Cowley is just mostly just to tank a couple of hits. So notice my Asmode going in, right here. Voom. Okay, so you guys might not really notice that, or maybe you do. But usually, I'm quite surprised that Asmode can deal a little bit of HP, a little bit of damage to Seto. Alright, just one source of damage, not like 3 or 4 like compared to like Seto hitting Seto or Grand hitting Seto. But in most cases, Asmode will be able to do a couple of things, especially when dealing with Lucius like that. That Lucius is not plus 10. I mean, it's not plus 12, right? So the ability to deal with units like that, alright, especially a Lucius, which is not below plus 12 basically. So I can just use Asmode, right? Pillage that Lucius, Lucius will activate the Death Guard, and then round 2 Livia goes in, destroy that Lucius immediately. So it's kind of a good neat combo right there. So this guy still uses Natus. So we're gonna finish him off with Asmode, no, Velter, boom. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, Asmode kind of depends on RNG as well. So for example, especially against Grand, so I've mentioned this a couple of times in my previous videos. So when Asmode encounters Grand, it's all about the RNG, because when Asmode tries to attack Grand, the pillage will get reflected. So Asmode will lose all the buffs. So in this case, when my Asmode hits this Grand, zoom, surprisingly I got lucky. The Helga didn't die though. That was also a surprise. I'm guessing because Asmode dies immediately, so there's no damage right there. So yeah, in that case, I did got pretty lucky. Just like that, getting to get rid of enemy's Grand. So that saves my Livia as well in a way. So my Livia will not die to enemy Grand, because most of the time a Grand is set up so that they are placed adjacent to a Seto, alright, just to counter enemy Livia. So something that I might consider to do more often in the future. Maybe just going in, I'm not sure if I even need Rafitia anymore, to be honest. I could just go a Veronia Asmode. that might be something that's much more consistent as well in dealing with Grand, because you know, at most times you just want the consistency, alright, at certain times. You don't want to play gamble all the time, especially when you're dealing with Grand front. I do see a couple of formations that put Grands in front, but mostly it's just Lucius, alright? Majority of the time, what you'll be seeing is just Lucius front, 90% of the time, alright? At least based on the formations that I faced, of course, my server, my league, etc. Okay, so let's have a look at one more battle against Ace right here. So like I mentioned, Velter is something that you see very often. So this formation somewhat puts my Asmode in a very huge advantage right here. Having to get rid of enemy Velter early on. You guys know how annoying Velter can be. 100,000 HP, easily achievable. So right here, boom. So Asmode took care of 2 units. Alright, Helga, enemy Velter, and of course we activate the Lucius Death Guard as well. So that's something that's truly in our advantage. So now I've been thinking a lot whether or not I want to continue using Raphithia. The synergy between Raphithia and Grand Hildair is always there. It's always something that, you know, as a player I could definitely benefit from. Look at that, Lucius dying to counter. Do you guys saw that? Lucius died to Grand Hildair right there. So that was a, I mean Velfern, alright? Did I just say Lucius? Velfern, sorry. Velfern dying right there. So that was a +0 Velfern. Alright, you're going to see a lot of Velferns for sure. Even at the +0 or +3, Velfern is perfectly usable. So I think if I don't have Asmode, before I was using Asmode, I was using Lyudmila in his place. Alright, some of you guys did ask me during the chat in the live stream. So definitely, I noticed with Lyudmila, there's a lot of Helgas at the back. Alright, so at least based on my observations in Sapphire ranks, so Helga at the back is really bad, especially when you are basically activating the buff prohibition to your team. And I feel like the meta that we are entering right now is going to lean more towards units that deal only a single damage to a single tile, you know, as opposed to something that goes 3 tiles back, 3 tiles front, etc. So those units like Christina, Lyudmila, they can be a risky one, especially if you activate Helga first. That means that your entire team is buff prohibited, unless you set up the formations accordingly. So I think I got pretty lucky right here. No, I didn't got lucky. My Lucius destroyed that Raphi. So from this point onwards, my Seto was able to skip past that. So I want to show you guys a little bit of what I meant. So let's see if I can slow it down a little bit. So notice right here. Okay, so we're gonna run at half a speed. Asmode did deal some damage. I hope you guys saw there was a 585 HP that jumps out. So Asmode, despite being a supporter, you know, was able to deal damage to enemy Seto as well. Alright, okay, let's jump into some defensive battles. Hopefully show you guys right there as well. So defense wise, my formation seems to work pretty well as well. Let me show you guys. So right now I'm on the right. We are fighting against Viserion. Okay, so again, Asmode, I position him in front. Maybe it's better to place him in skip. But the enemy is going to charge up with every single mages. 3 mages on the enemy. Livia, Velfern, Velter. So I'm going to go in with my Asmode first. Look at that. So immediately, so Asmode sort of destroys this formation entirely. Because enemies Velter die, what happens is, when the Velter dies, the next skip is Livia. So Seto was able to skip and destroy Livia. So basically I was able to get rid of both Velter and Livia on the enemy side. So that is like 2 secured kill already, right? So having Asmode, like if you're not careful, he's really strong, right? He's able to destroy some formations. Especially formations like you saw, like relies heavily on having Velter in skip tile, alright? Because those formations are built to counter Seto, right? Of course there's Angelica and stuff, but there are some formations, believe it or not, that has Velter and skip, and then they use Albion, alright? So if you use Angelica, your Angelica is going to end up hitting the unit that the Albion is buffing, for example Grand Hildair or whatever. But in my case, if I use Asmode, right, since Asmode is a supporter, he will always ignore taunt, he will always attack that same particular lane, he will not get taunted away. So it's quite, he still has that, one of his best strengths is right there, right now, alright, especially his ability to destroy formations like you saw. Alright, I'm going to show you guys more examples, but definitely I feel like he's a solid one. Alright, so let's have a look at one more against QR. Oh man, firecracker exploding outside my window. Alright. So yeah, like I mentioned, because lots of formations try to use this Velter skip, this is going to be very impactful for you to have, I mean for players like me to have Asmode. But in that case, notice my Asmode immediately died. So I have no idea how did I win this, but let's see. I'm actually curious myself. Okay, Lyudmila died. Okay, who was there? Lyudmila. I'm guessing in the formations that I fought in Sapphire and in Grandmaster, they are way different. Alright, to be honest, I was quite surprised by that. Oh, this Yuri is a plus 15. He went for that front to back tile range as opposed for the cross tile, which is very unique. Maybe he find this more helpful. Seto is... oh, that's a non-awakened costume, right? I'm quite surprised actually. Okay, so I'm guessing I still win this because I still have Livia, but I feel like I'm gonna die because of... how am I winning this? I'm guessing my Velter carried me all the way, right? So Livia is able to one-shot. Oh, Velter lives through that. Did I want this one? I can't remember. Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe I clicked on the wrong one. Maybe I want this one still? I don't know. If I do win this one, it's going to most likely be because I have a stronger Velter. An enemy has a plus 12 Velter. Alright. My Velter is 15. So definitely I have a stronger Velter already. And I still have my Lucius. So I'm not sure what enemy has. Plus 12 Lucius as well. Lucius plus 12 is really solid. So now it's just Velter versus Velter. But of course, since I do have a stronger Velter overall, so that's where my Velter basically carries me to victory right here. So Velter's regeneration will only heal you up to turn 70. It stops healing. Oh, but I still have Lucius. So actually Lucius carried me. So yeah, Lucius carried me right there, not Velter. I was quite surprised by that. Okay, let's have a look at one battle. This is also another defensive battle. This is during the Ruby 2 run. Alright. I noticed this is a very interesting formation. Belia formation all the way at the back. And then we have what we're going to call the triple defender in front. So my Asmode died by sacrificing himself to get rid of enemy's Glacier. I think it's a decent... oh, that Seto is not plus 12, right? Oh, it is? Yeah, I think it's a decent trade for Asmode to sacrifice himself for Glacier, in my opinion. Like, especially right now, with how Seto is everywhere and enemy can set up the taunt on their Glacier. If you hit their Glacier, there's a Seto nearby, your Livia will die for sure. Which is why I think maybe getting Livia plus 15 might be the priority, at least for me. I do think that there's a big, huge bonus or advantage right there. But yeah, like I mentioned, it's gonna help a ton because... okay, how am I winning this? Okay, I still have my Seto. So if I win this, it has to be because of my Seto. Oh, okay, that's how I won. So yeah, overall it was definitely a fun week. So I think this is the first week that we have had this Octo plus 12, Seto plus 12, Lucius plus 12. We are now in the new norm, new meta. Alright, Seto is everywhere. So try your best to always figure out a way to counter him. And you know, if you guys are still stuck behind the Seto plus 11 or Seto plus 10, I do think it's very important to push a Seto to plus 12, especially right now, as soon as you can. Alright, it's gonna have a huge impact in the arena moving forward. Alright, so that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you do, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications as well, because I'll be doing more live streams throughout this week for the World Arena once it starts. As always, have a nice day. Goodbye.